isn't like good pleasure of his will. God doesn't have good pleasure. Well, I don't know that God. Because I never learned a God that was good pleasure. I never learned a God whose will was good and pleasurable to him, and that it was pleasing to him that I would be his son. Can you imagine that? I was taught he walks tall and carries a big stick, and you better watch out, because if you step out of line, he'll zap you with lightning. Well, as I was going through Ephesians, I came to this part. Chapter 4, verse 17. I'm going to read it. I'd like you to look at it. It's in the New King James. It says, "This I say therefore," chapter 4, verse 17, "This I say therefore, I testify in the Lord, that you," there's that word again, remember the "you," that you were qualified to be partakers of the inheritance of the light in Colossians, and the "you" that he created and formed for his glory. Now here's that "you" in Ephesians. And he says that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk. Now let's define that. Maybe you all know this. I didn't know this. I learned this along the way. That the word Gentiles, I grew up thinking there are two groups of people in the world. They're the Jews and they're the Gentiles. And that was my understanding for much of my life. But he's saying to the Christians, he wrote this to Christians, and he's saying you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk. The word Gentile means those who have no covenant with Yahweh God through the blood of Jesus. But when we are born again and we come into a relationship with Jesus Christ, we are no longer foreigners and strangers and Gentiles, but we are members of the household of God and fellow citizens with the saints. So he's saying that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk.